All right. Maybe one more video. Let's go.
You know, it's like what
Every time I play a new video, he's laughing like that. Just
like, well, I guess I'll die. You know, just
that has been me with my article, since it's been published. Even during this interview, I'm still refreshing
and
on
that's
it.
fine. You just do that. That's how you do.
No, you don't,
just,
man.
Oh, Dr. Garris, I'm a part of the problem.
Yes, you are,
no,
man.
There it is. No, there it is.
You got to call him out for that shit right then and there. Don't try to smooth that shit over, man. That will grind the hardest of bodies into baby powder. Don't
there
do
it
that
is.
shit.
I tried to warn you. But no, and that's what you do. You sit there and it's just like, well, shit, you know.
Don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
The issue is, it's very easy to get caught up in that shit.
It's a mental trap.
It's very easy.
It's like heroin, man. Don't do it. Not once. Don't do it. It's heroin. You have to understand that. That's the one thing. Man, God, I wish people coming into the SCP Wiki knew that shit. You know, I didn't. Fuck. You think I didn't hit that heroin once, or twice, or 3 times? You think I didn't have that problem? Why do you think I'm sitting up here saying this stuff? You think I'm saying this stuff because I'm an angel? You think I'm saying this stuff because I don't have any experiential evidence of what this was like? The reason why I can talk about this stuff and talk about it effectively is because I lived it at one point. I know what this is like. I think we all did this at one point, you know. No one in the culture is interested in telling people the woes of this. There's no guide in the guide for newbies. There's no part that says, "Hey, look, people get really carried away about this. Here are just some tips from people who've been, through the ringer. They've been junkies in the past. This is highly addictive. Let's just say that. Okay, watch out." But this is common to all social media sites. But my point has always been, if this is common to all social media sites, then that makes the SCP Wiki Foundation stick out more like a sore thumb, doesn't it? This is the last place it should be.
You go, man, I'm going to write this and everyone's going to love it. And I'm going to get so many upvotes.
Who did we hear recently who said those exact words?
And so many good comments. Not that it's a good story. Not that you're trying to say, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
The point is that your standards lie in other people's reception of you. That's the fatal flaw.
But
that's not writing has never been about that. I mean, it is in a sort of corporate way, commercial way. Obviously, that has to be part of it when you're doing things like that. But some strange noises coming from my dog. Where's in my stomach? I don't know. But you can do that, but you still need to have that basis of writing to your personal standard first, and then you can have the other stuff. There are a lot of people who do this well, by the way. Sewell, who else? Quantum, who else? All kind of people do this. Dr. Gears. I mean, I don't have a problem with successful people. I don't, I don't have a problem with people who have a lot of upvotes, more power to you. In fact, if you can handle the success well, I'm applauding you more for that. I'm applauding you more than other people would, because I'm noticing that you're doing that too. Which is once again not easy to juggle. So
just want that praise and that feedback.
Yep.
And that's a real easy trap to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best writers and authors in the world wrote because they liked to, with no real expectation. Case in point, Lovecraft, one of the big boys, wrote because he liked to write. And
the irony of it, man, the irony. Is that my dog?
Penniless. And because of that, because he was so prolific and so focused on this and unconcerned with the general process, a genre of horror is named after him.
Yep.
Right.
And containment fiction really owes everything to that guy. Not everything, but I mean, big part. Big part.
It's the nature of the beast. The voting system is good for what it is.
Sure.
Also, I would say the majority of the major problems that the site has had, especially as far as like community stuff goes,
yep,
are directly related to that voting module.
I might be able to retire. For real. Doesn't get better than that. It's not going to get better than this moment right now. So, I'm happy with it.
Period.
Really?
I would
Yeah, really. Don't sound like such a dumbass, of course.
I would say the majority. I would say the vast majority of people hunting
Actually,
votes.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, honestly, the Sarastes incident, which, people like, I'm sure people are tired of me talking about the Sarastes incident, but I do think aside from really the death of the author 2021 and the Pride controversy, I think it's, besides those two things, maybe the most important thing that's ever happened on a community level to the SCP Wiki. I think it's huge. That actually was also about upvotes, because it really came down to Dr. Magnus being jealous and envious that someone had published a 001, which we all know are typically upvote magnets, before he got a chance to do his on a similar subject. He overreacted, Dr. Magnus, because it didn't really actually have a lot to do with what he was claiming was his own intellectual property, which is absurd on its face already. But anyway, that also came down to upvotes. That was because somebody got mad because somebody mined a particular set of lore for upvotes in the form of an SCP-001 before Dr. Magnus got his chance to, although he had been sitting on his chance for about 3 to 4 years at least.
Bitching about it, whining,
Yep.
currying people up, threatening, doing shit to try and make number get bigger.
Yep.
Or
Oh my gosh,
make
yeah, now that you say it, I could think of like...
That's the point. Now that Dr. Gears says it. I'm not resentful. I'm not like... I'm as happy as can be. I've never been happier after hearing this. This is like receiving an award, up on stage for me right now. That's what this is. I'm not mad that people are only taking this seriously when Dr. Gears says it. Not at all. I know my role. I know what I am. I'm not the person who has a lot of commercial success. That's just not who I am. I'm not the person whose words, are understood the first time they're said. And that's just my lot. There's good things about that, and there's bad things about that. And I'm totally content to hear, years-long efforts to educate people about how this is a real problem for their culture, and more importantly, how it is, impinging upon and really killing by a matter of compression what Dr. Gears has already limited, which is the roots of the site, the identity of the site, the purpose of the site. And even deeper than that, more importantly, the act of writing, the spirituality of writing. Very important, and I think this guy knew very well. This is the funniest thing to see, because this Shawn Saxum guy is trying to play it off like, oh, now that Dr. Gears said it, I understand it. He already knew. That's the whole point. That's the whole point, is that all of these people know it. They're not like, any animal is a very intuitive thing, and humans are no exception. He knows this is true. He just wants to ignore it so as to participate in the spoils. That's the whole thing. That's the whole criticism. That's why I think it was absolutely necessary for me to do something as disruptive and as classless, you might say, as that author page. It's because you had to shake these people. You had to slap these people in the face. You had to shake them. Or they're not gonna listen to you. Are you okay? You hungry? Sheesh.
like 20 things
or
already.
make someone else's number get smaller.
Ooh.
For whatever reason.
Ooh.
I would say the majority of the problems are directly related to that. Now, if I ran the zoo, and yes, I was the administrator, I'm saying if I went full tyrant mode, y'all get behind. Brief aside, that almost happened, by the by. And a lot of people don't know that. And I want everybody to understand that. Back when we first moved to Wikidot and we really started getting people together, we realized there were a bunch of people coming in. And me and a bunch of the other big authors, maybe 20 people, sat down and said, should we lock the wiki? Should we lock the wiki and only let ourselves and a handful of approved people publish? Or should we leave it open for everybody to come in? And we decided to leave it open. This could have been a very,
all right, so I think
very,
my dog is
very
like,
different-
sorry, I've kind of been listening, but my dog is, something's going on in my dog's stomach. So I'm going to let him outside because I don't think he's hungry because he ate recently. I just wonder what he ate now. Okay. Y'all take it easy. I'll catch you next time. This has been Lack of Lepers. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. A lot of fun. Bye-bye.